Tomorrow, ladies and gents, it is I, the Crimson Crusader, your favorite anti-MGTOW YouTuber that MGTOWs love to hate. Welcome back to another video. In the last video, I mentioned how I'm going to talk about 3 important things anti-MGTOW content creators should be doing. In that previous video, I explained the importance of thumbnails and how it increases your chances of getting more views, which allows your message to spread more quickly. Today, I'm going to continue from where I left off, and in this video, I'm going to explain what you should do to make your thumbnail stand out, and I'm going to explain the third thing anti-MGTOW YouTubers should do regarding the artistic/visual side of their channel. If you haven't seen my previous video, part 1 of this, I guess you could say, mini-series, it's not really a series, it's really 2 videos, but if you haven't seen part 1, I recommend watching that video first before you watch this one. So a link to that video will be in the description box below. And remember, everything I say in this video is pretty much just my opinion. You're free to disagree or agree or whatever. Anyways, let's jump right into this video. Let's start off by talking about how to make a good thumbnail. Now, I do understand that sometimes using an image in your video can work as your video's thumbnail. And in fact, I've done this before for videos such as my channel intro and outro videos. However, it's not as good as making your own. See, this thumbnail I made for my latest channel intro and outro video is way better than the other example I just showed you. So what you really should be doing most of the time is creating your own thumbnails. Chances are a thumbnail that you put more time into making is going to look way better than some random image and basic looking text that took someone else 10 minutes to make. I have other things I want to cover in this video, so I'm going to give you a general idea of what to consider doing when making a thumbnail. I'm not going to go into too much depth. But here's some basic things that you really should be focusing on. And the first is make sure your thumbnail actually fits the box, because you want to avoid having those annoying black bars on the side because it just looks bad. It's just ew. No, instead resize your image to 1280 by 720 pixels or 920 by 1080 pixels so it actually fits. Also, do not, and I repeat, do not use an unaltered image in someone else's video or use someone else's thumbnail as your own thumbnail, because it makes it look like you're void of creativity. Creativity and originality is what separates the meh content creators from the actual good content creators. And the only exception to this is if someone gives you permission to mirror their video and you want to use their thumbnail, or you're both working on some video collab together and you both want to use the same thumbnail. Now that's understandable. But other than that, I see no reason to be using the exact same thumbnail as someone else. Luckily, most anti-MGTOW channels I've seen make their own original content, and that's great. However, I thought this was worth mentioning because I still see certain MGTOW and even anti-MGTOW channels do this. Moving on, another thing that you should be doing in almost every thumbnail is including good text. Avoid doing this. No. You want your text to stand out more, and you can accomplish this by making your text large like mine, so it's actually readable and it grabs people's attention. And make sure your text includes keywords like MGTOW, anti-MGTOW, or something that gives context to what you're talking about in your video. Another important part about making good thumbnails is using color well, and you'll have to experiment and play around with color. But personally, I think having bright and bold colors can help make a thumbnail look aesthetically appealing and interesting, and helps it stand out from all the other thumbnails out there on YouTube. However, do be careful when using bright and bold colors, because if you overdo it, your thumbnail won't look that good. Also, what's cool about using colors in your thumbnails is you can use them to convey the mood of your video. If you're talking about a serious or dark subject, then you might want to avoid using bright and vibrant colors and use darker colors. How you use color is really up to you, but I would encourage you to try experimenting with different colors and see what works best. And also consider looking more into how to use color, because there may be some useful information out there that can give you better advice than I can, but this is something you can start out with. Next, make sure you have an interesting background image and some image in the foreground to represent what you're talking about. Like an advertisement, thumbnails that have good images in the foreground are going to be more appealing. This is because those images serve as visual cues that communicate to your audience what you are talking about in a very unique way. And I think by doing this, this is going to make your visual content more engaging, because people are not just looking at some block of colorful text. However, that's just my opinion. Lastly, make sure there is some consistency to your thumbnails. In all my thumbnails, I generally try to use the same font, and I do reuse some colors. Having consistency in some elements in your thumbnail design makes your channel stand out more, because you have a certain style. However, make sure you balance consistency with creativity, because you don't want all your thumbnails to look the same. That's pretty much it for thumbnails. I know this might seem like obvious stuff, but I have to say this because I think people can forget the obvious. Also, if anti-MGTOW YouTubers really want to be taken more seriously, we have to be able to compete with the MGTOW content creators at getting views and also making good arguments. Anyways, I recommend going on YouTube and watching some tutorial videos by some prominent content creators if you need more help on how to make good thumbnails. Lastly, you need to have a brand for your channel. Basically, a channel brand is how you want someone to perceive your channel when they hear it. Your channel brand could be a theme or idea that makes your channel unique. Having a channel brand gives you a unique identity which will make you stand out and people will remember who you are. And that builds your channel's popularity and it makes you seem more entertaining. With that popularity, it is easier to spread your message out there to more people because you're someone people know. And for example, my channel brand is a Crusader theme. It's something that's interesting and different and that you're not going to find on any other Anti-MGTOW channel. And the best way to create your channel brand is through the visual/art side of your channel. Having an avatar, for example, makes you recognizable, and a decent channel banner adds to your theme of your channel. And if you really want to develop your brand for your channel, choose a certain set of colors to represent your channel. Doing this leaves a good first impression and it adds a consistent theme to your channel. For me, I like using the color white and red a lot because they are colors that I think one would associate with a Crusader, and those colors just look good together. However, one of the most important things you can do to build a channel brand is having an intro and outro in your videos for your YouTube channel. This is something that is lacking in many MGTOW channels and in many anti-MGTOW channels as well. I know everyone has their own style, but it's just kind of sad when people don't do this. If I'm being honest, every channel should have an intro and an outro because it adds to your channel brand. When people hear or see that intro, they know who's talking. They know it's you and not someone else. And that intro adds value to your channel because it makes you look less like an amateur and it reinforces your channel identity when you use colors and images that represent your channel's theme. It's not that hard to do this. Even a bad artist like me can make an intro. I found a free video online and some free music and modified it to make something interesting. And there you go. You got an intro and an outro. As I said before, make sure you're following copyright laws and etc. when you're getting content from somewhere else. So, who are people going to remember? Some random guy with a garbage logo and barely any style or theme to his channel, or a cool channel that has an interesting theme and a cool avatar? Before someone gets triggered, not every Anti-MGTOW channel criticism I give is a criticism against all Anti-MGTOW channels. But when I look at many Anti-MGTOW channels, I feel like there are things that are missing. For those not doing the things I mentioned, your channels are not necessarily bad. But I think there are some things that could be improved. I want Anti-MGTOW channels to succeed, and I'm hoping that this information can help those guys out. And I understand that facts and logical arguments are always going to be more important than working on channel art. However, Anti-MGTOWs, we must not neglect the visual/art side of our channels if we truly want our community to look professional and be relevant competition to MGTOW on this platform. And if our community is to be taken seriously, we need to be paying attention to details. I'll even admit that I'm guilty of some of the things that I've mentioned in this video, such as not using enough engaging visuals. However, now I'm trying to do a better job of avoiding that because this channel is about improving my content that I make. And I'm hoping that by sharing this information, people can avoid the mistakes I've made. Now, unless you're new to YouTube, or you're going through some traumatic experience, or something very important is occurring in your life right now, there is no excuse why you shouldn't have somewhat decent looking content. And some might say they don't have lots of time to do this. Well, the tough reality is, if you don't have lots of time for Anti-MGTOW content creation, then either you need to make the time, or your channel is not going to reach its full potential, and I think that's really sad. Now, as I said before, not everyone in the Anti-MGTOW community is lacking in the visuals department. If you find this video condescending or a waste of time, that's your choice to have that counterproductive attitude. At least I am sending a message that on this channel, I value quality, creativity, and effort. And I think those are values that everyone should have. Before I end this video, I want to make sure you all understand that these improvements to my channel art are not something I did alone. With the help from an Anti-MGTOW guy, I now have better channel art, and I want to thank him for helping me out because I appreciate the time and energy he spent to create this. For now, I'm not going to say who he is because I don't know if he wants this to be an anonymous contribution, or he wants people to know that he helped support this channel in the arts department. Anyways, I hope this video helps. I know it's been a while since I've posted something on here, and I'm trying to figure out how to manage my own life and still have time to be a productive member of the Anti-MGTOW community. Anyways, do you guys agree with my suggestions? Am I missing something important here? Tell me in the comments below. Remember to like this video too. Also, if you know any Anti-MGTOW content creators who are new to YouTube, consider sharing this video with them so they can learn how to improve their channels as well. Please subscribe to this channel, and follow me on BitChute and Twitter to support the Anti-MGTOW cause. My fair ladies and honorable gents, fare thee well.